Epic viewers from around the multiverse, prepare to bask in unprecedented glory, because today I'm going to be commencing my Netflix epic review appertaining to the rise of the That's not terrible. Hello epic viewers from around the multiverse, prepare to bask in unprecedented glory, because today I'm going to be commencing my Netflix epic review appertaining to the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures. Are these action figures paradigms of without perfection? Are they characterized by insipid mediocrity? Or are they abysmal, appalling, egregious, and abhorrent in all facets? In my objective opinion, in the form of a quantitative score, I'm going to rate these action figures to be a 5 out of 10 for their price points, and that's me being magnanimous. I'm an avid devout Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and these action figures can't hold a candle to their 2003 TMNT counterparts. Now, Playmates Toys has truly done an appalling job in previous years. Some of their figurines are comprised of string, such as a Triceraton from the 2003 TMNT series, and the Rhino figure Gen. I believe his name is Triaxis, as per the Triceraton's name. What is that name? Damn. Let's redo that. Viewers from around the multiverse, prepare to bask in unprecedented glory, because today I'm going to be commencing my Netflix epic review appertaining to the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures. Are these action figures paradigms for without imperfection? Are they abysmal? Or are they egregious? Or are they characterized by insipid mediocrity and no facets? In my objective opinion, in the form of a quantitative score, at best, with me being magnanimous, I'd have to rate these action figures to be a 5 out of 10. Why? Playmates Toys has done an appalling job relative to their past competitors. These action figures are priced at the cost of a Toy Biz Marvel Legends figure. In spite of this, they lack 32 to 40 points of articulation. They lack stellar accessories. They lack a robust, high-quality, extraordinary Build-A-Figure piece for a 14 to 16-inch Build-A-Figure that offers unprecedented value to the multiverse and to the hardcore action figure collector. And of course, these figures don't have shadings, nor decals, nor designs, nor sculpts, nor textures, nor even anything on par with the Toy Biz Marvel Legends action figure. Yet again, Playmates Toys has the gall to charge as much, if not more, for these figures than the retail price of a Toy Biz Marvel Legends action figure that retails for $8 plus tax. Can bundle with a comic, a slew of stellar accessories, and of course, a high-quality, state-of-the-art Build-A-Figure piece that would allow your imagination to run wild and escape the parameters of your mind. I'm just exaggerating a bit about the latter part, but you get the gist of this. Let that marinate into your mind. The Toy Biz Marvel Legends action figures were golly, they were divine. They were celestial hunks of plastic. I love these inanimate objects, but let's move on. So Playmates Toys really has done a pitiful job. Their performance has been disgraceful in recent years. They made action figures that were held together by string, and if you try to pull an appendage outward, all the appendages would break apart from the body. They had terrible designs, and you had figures that were hollow in their feet. They're probably still doing that. You have figures with minimal articulation. They just try to skimp and cut corners. You have figures comprised of rubber, so they may have a nice presentation, but when you open them, you find out that they have these awkward poses like this, and their articulation is very rudimentary, and they're going to give us rudimentary articulation, give us two-fisted hands, or two clenched together hands, or weapon-wielding hands, as other action figures like to call them, so that at least you can slide armaments into your figures so they look poised for combat. But when you have these weird poses with open hands where they're pivoted at an angle in terms of their feet is just a recipe for inexplicable disaster. So these figures truly take the cake. They're not as bad as their predecessors, nor are they as meticulously detailed as the 2007 TMNT figures. So I just try to be objective. Let's just move on and get into the damn review already. So here we have Mies West. Relative to the other TMNT figures, he's burly, he's bulky, he's morbidly obese. He can take a hit. He utilizes his fat as a buffer to safeguard his organs, to tank, to mitigate damage, and to stave off his adversaries. So, not a bad figurine per se. His articulation is rudimentary. He has shoulder articulation, elbow joints, and he doesn't seem to have pegs in the knees, so he's devoid of knee joints. It's too bad he lacks a butterfly joint, but oh well. And his I'm uncertain as to whether or not his head can be swiveled or rotated, but not too bad at least. His hands are semi-clenched together so he can wield weapons, and he has one open hand. If you're going to give us hands, make sure they're either fisted or semi-clenched together. If not, then give us multiple interchangeable hands so we could customize our own hand orientations, or hand poses, or hands that are wielded, or whatever the show you want to say. So he's a new character. He's quite a novelty. I like his design. I like his sculpt. I like his textures. I like his details. He just is characterized by a bit mediocrity. Nothing special for $8 plus tax or $9 plus tax. Nothing truly abysmal per se. He could have been improved in terms of size and articulation a bit, but for the $8 price point you can't expect much. So 5 out of 10. If you want to be real generous, I guess you could give him 5.5 out of 10, because you have to utilize $8 Toby's Marvel Legends action figure as a benchmark for comparison of value, and relative to the $8 Toby's Marvel Legends Juggernaut figure, considering this figure is the same price, if not more expensive, in terms of its retail price. I really have to give this figure a 5 out of 10. This may be eminently generous. If I look past the $8 Toby's Marvel Legends Juggernaut, maybe I could give this figure a 5.5 out of 10, but that's pushing the envelope and stretching it too far. So let's move on. I apologize about digressing. Here next we have Rapheal. Again, I'm going to also rank him a 5 out of 10. I'm not into the design. As per my favorite TMNT figures, I love the NECA TMNT figures. I love the video game designs. I also love the 2003 TMNT figures are based off the comic book counterparts, and that series was ominous. It was dark, and it was adult oriented. It wasn't jejune. It wasn't kid friendly per se. But kids love the action, and this series unfortunately fails to deliver. It's appalling, despicable, and disgraceful relative to the 2003 TMNT series. So the Rapheal figure may possibly be the best TMNT figure out of the four brothers. He has more weight. He's a bit heftier. He's bulkier. He has more plastic per se, and his musculature is likely larger than the other turtles. per se. He comes with these enhancements. I guess they're supposed to augment his powers. I don't know. He comes with weapons that look like batons. I'm not sure what they're exactly called. Their monikers are an enigma, and they elude me. Let's see here. He has holsters for his weapons around his belt. That's not bad per se. I'm sure you can snap them in. He seems to have elbow joints, knee joints. He seems to be able to swivel the head. He has shoulder joints. And he also has joints of the hip. Not bad. His pelvis is practically invisible, but perhaps you can see it from an angle if you change your vantage point or your perspective. He's truly the muscles of the group, and these sweats is supposed to be the tenderizer. I'm not sure what that's supposed to denote. I guess he's supposed to pulverize his adversaries to bloody pulp and subsequently devour them and dismember them. I don't know. The show is not supposed to be on par with the TMNT comic book series. Nonetheless, you could be imaginative and pretend that this character can fit the comic book lore, you know, just because he looks like a sadistic, malicious, malign, malevolent, cunning, conniving villain. He has ill will, he has malintent, and his attitude is hostile. His words are vituperative and bitter and sharp. See, I'm just role-playing that this guy embodies evil, but he's probably a light-hearted villain that poses no real threat. He's not truly a menace to the turtles. And then you have Rapheal. I guess he's supposed to be the light-hearted asinine character that's supposed to be the comic relief character. I don't know. I miss the old Rapheal. That was a vigilante that became the Night Watcher, that was essentially like a renegade rogue hero that acted on his own, that was essentially a one-man army. This Rapheal just caters and panders to no one, because the kids may be appeased, but the adults from the time of antiquity, such as myself and relic of the past, are not. We're agitated, infuriated, and imbued with anger for no reason over hunks of plastic that have no bearing on our future, that we shouldn't hone in on, but we do anyway because we love focusing on trivial, nonsense that has no context to our life, but that provides us with an escapism from the monotonies of everyday life, or I should say the drudgeries of everyday life. So, these weapons have one color scheme. I like the translucent red paint that's been molded into the plastic for the mystic augmentations. The shuriken of this dull, unappealing gray color. His shell seems to be molded on rather than painted on. That's good. Both on the back and on the front. Maybe it's glued on. But Hasbro would have painted it on. Hasbro skimps. Playmates toys skimps as well. But this figure is one of their better figures per se, at least in the rise of the TMNT line. And this is all just, these figures are essentially just one big advertisement for the series. The series is supposed to entice people to buy the figures. Figures entice people to watch the series, to learn the lore and the engrossed and entrenched in the content, and then subsequently buy more figures. Just culminates in a recipe for destitution, indigence, and poverty, as people hemorrhage money and more of these figures that are just lackluster relative to their Toby's More Belligerent counterparts. But because he has articulation on the requisite areas, because he comes with a slew of accessories, and because he's bulkier and heftier and more masculine than the other turtles, he's not as scrawny and dainty and fragile. I'm going to have to give him a 5 out of 10, and that's me being eminently generous. So the Measless figure and the Raphael figure are probably the 2 best figures in the line thus far. I want the Leonardo figure. Leonardo is my favorite character, but they've just bastardized the characters. You know, they're just not as appealing as they used to be. And if you want a good TMNT series, check out the 2003 series. It has witty humor, it has dark moments, it pretty much merges the best elements of the comic books and witty dialogue together to just create an appealing, captivating, riveting show that will bedazzle you. You have Michelangelo cracking jokes, and you have all the other turtles that are serious, solemn, and poised for combat, except Donatello. He's laid back. I love Donatello. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this review to be insightful and informative. Have a blissful, glorious day. Goodbye.